Now, we're not doing Ocarina of Time, because I haven't played this game in a long time. See, this is my first save file from '07, and this is 22. Now, this save file was from 2014, so I haven't played in 8 years. 8 years since the last time I played this. 2014 was my second file. Now, I've gotten lost in this water dungeon. But since Vinny talked about his cousin, Vinny Vinesauce, of the Vinesauce, the leader of the Vinesauce universe, with Fire Skeletor, Joel, and Desert Pagona, Jabroni Mike, Mono, Critical, Imakuni, Fire Skeletor, Joel, let's get past these fuckers. And the jellyfish as well. So yeah, Vinny talked about his cousin and his nightclub, but let me talk about my cousin. Now the thumbnail shows you my cousin I think it's my cousin Gabriel. It might be my older cousin Memo. But it could be Gabriel. I mean, Gabriel and Memo look very much alike. Little thugs. I mean, hell, Memo was a thug. You know, honestly, he stole car radios, okay? I'll tell you a little bit about Memo, then I'll talk about Gabriel. Memo was in a street gang in the 80s. He was in and out of jail so many times. But more importantly, like, he would steal car radios. Because there was a profit. You could steal car radios and just sell them for high prices. You know, what you do is you go to a nice Beverly Hills area, Beverly Hills, Pasadena, Burbank. You steal the car parts. You're coming from East LA, Boyle Heights. You steal the car parts in rich white areas, and then dump the rest that you don't need. They're not profitable in Riverside. That's how it goes, generally. So he was in jail a lot for that. I don't know much about Gabriel being in a gang, but I can always speak for Gabriel for my childhood. From what my mom told me, Gabriel was somebody, he had severe hemophilia, like I have severe hemophilia, type A, okay? And unlike me, that had Blue Ruby, there you go. So we're in the water temple, lake bed temple of Twilight, where Vinny was in the water temple of Ocarina of Time. Trying to finish this temple. Anyway, so where I had hepatitis C, Gabriel had AIDS. Which was, you know, back then was like a death sentence. So he was born in 1977 and died in 1995. He was 18 years old. He graduated just in time, but then shortly after. Let me figure out exactly what's happening here. So I think we have to go back and follow this path. If I could do that, I could probably solve this. I've been playing around with this lake bed temple for a while. I went through the game FAQs to try to figure it out again, but it's been years since I played this game. I mean, this is like this is the master. You know, if Ocarina of Time had a master quest, this is the master quest. Anyway, so, but you remember like Magic Johnson had AIDS, and he's still alive today. So there were ways that maybe he had more money than most, but he survived. And I knew at least one other person who I don't know personally who has hemophilia and has AIDS, and he's still alive. There was another person who had AIDS and died from a surfing accident. He didn't die from the AIDS. So there's a lot of variables and factors when it comes to someone with AIDS. It is possible to catch it early. It's possible to prevent it even back then. But some people were not so lucky. My brother was not. My brother also had AIDS and died from not just the severe hemophilia, but the pneumonia from cold weather, from just different things. So when my mom told me about Gabriel's childhood, before he even started school, he was somebody that, like his dad, my uncle was ashamed of. My uncle, who also passed away due to a heart attack. And what is it my mom told me that Oh, hold on. Let me take care of this. I like these sword moves that you learn. The Hero of Time, in the form of a ghost wolf, teaches you about these things. This being the sequel to Majora's Mask, which is now available online in the Nintendo Switch service, Nintendo Online. But this is the sequel. If Link put the sword back and never became the Hero of Time. And he has to teach this dude about sword moves. So, when Gabriel was a kid, his father wanted to, who proudly beat up his mother, my aunt, okay? He proudly beat the crap out of her for looking at him the wrong way, not getting dinner ready, okay? I'm not kidding. He wanted to tie up Gabriel to a bed all the time because of his hemophilia. He was like ashamed of him, like he wanted to lock him down like a prisoner. Because of the way my uncle hit my aunt all the time, Memo being in jail a lot, his sisters being like gold-digging Cinderella stepsisters, Gabriel had nobody and no one to really mentor him. And just every time, so we didn't go to the same school together until 1986. And he was just a troubled kid. He was always trying to be annoying with me for whatever reason. And I don't remember much about, if we spent time together before we were 7 years old, I don't remember much about it. But I know that he was like a mean-spirited kid. I know he was not a happy kid. And I know his mother was never happy with me, just by the way she would try to use the back of her hand. I think she tried to use the back of her hand with me when I was younger than 7 years old. All right? But, see, now I got to figure out, what needs to happen here is that those giant cogs up there need to start spinning around so I can get to that door and to the other doors. But damn me if I'm going to find a way, right? So I was waiting for him to move. Let's see. So you grab onto one of these things. That's how the claw shot works. It's more advanced than a hook shot, because you can actually go down like an elevator. Yeah, so we went to Robert Hill Lane together. And so it is an elementary school for kids, kindergarten through 8th grade. Okay, I went to Perez School that's where I met Deanna and Lorraine. And then I met Genevieve and Melissa at Robert Hill Lane, and I saw my cousin there. And we went to the same school together. So yeah, he was a bad influence. He was just this mean-spirited kid who would try to get you to say or do the wrong things. And he was an asshole with me. He would mock everything I say. He would mock everything I would respond to. Like he was trying to be so much better and cooler than me. That was the problem with him, is that he was not a nice person. Like if you laughed, he would make fun of the way you laugh. If you wanted to play, I remember I had toy cars and I would fly them through the air. I had these little Hot Wheels. It's like, hey, no, that's not right. It's not how you're supposed to do things. He would just mock everything I did. And he had his own train sets. He had model trains. He had Hot Wheels cars. He had Masters of the Universe, but he would have the bad guys, right? He would have the bad guys, not He-Man, not Stratos or Man-at-Arms or Tila. He would have Evil Lyn, Beastman, Merman, Trapjaw. He was just something about it, right? So because he had no good family, no strong family, and no good family values, he eventually turned to gangs, I think. He also had his skateboarding. So he loved skateboarding, he loved model trains. There was a lot of things that he liked. So we have this. It's not possible to go any further. Um, the only thing I can do is go back to the circular room. Yeah, that's all I can do right now. We're going to go back to that door. I'm so super stuck in this game. I'll tell you that right now. So yeah, he tried to, like, there were times where Gabriel and I would come home or go to his house because he didn't live too far from me. He lived about 2 miles from my house. We take the school bus, but he was just such an asshole. He would like try to throw me down, or he would grab me by the collars and try to rough me up, like he was trying to own me and shit. This is when I used to let people push me around, and Gabriel was just not a nice kid. Like I told you, he would try to. I remember on the bus rides home, he would see these tough, ugly, stupid gangbangers, or older people, and he would try to do this sort of gang sign, like 2 hands over his chest, like he was like, "Oh, look at me, I'm tough and shit." And this is not a funny story, okay? So, this is a kid that really did not mean well for anybody. He was just mean-spirited. So he would try to do gang signs to impress. Like, that was all he wanted to do. He wanted to ride skateboards, work on model trains, collect Hot Wheels, work on cars, and be a gangbanger. That was all that mattered to him. Like, he didn't have any education. It's not that working on cars is bad. Working on cars is a great hobby. I don't have any personal interest in it, and I never will. But it's like, everything he wanted to do was associated with being a cholo, just like his brother, and hanging around the ghetto. Like, nothing more than that. So what happens here is that we need water to go through this, and I don't know how to do that. So we got to follow the pathway, right? We got to use our noggin, just like Wordle. Remember your moves. Anyway, so yeah, Gabriel used to rough me up when we went to his house, so my mom put a stop to that. I told her, I said, I'm not going to put up with that. You know? Everybody, including my father, those 2 Armenian gangs that said I hit their car in 2003, I was a racist for a little bit. Kids at school, my sisters, Gabriel, they were all mean-spirited to me. So that was tough. That was really tough to deal with. But he was a sad kid whose father was ashamed of his hemophilia, whose brother wasn't around, and when he was around, he was doing the wrong things. His sisters were too spoiled, fighting each other to get mom's possessions. My aunt, his mom was not there. My aunt was not there for him when she needed to be there. My uncle was the voice of that house. And he was not afraid to hit his wife or cheat on his wife at any opportunity. Right? And by the way, these are things that my mom had told me. And if these are not learning tools for any of you, I don't know what needs to be. We talk about Russia and the problems with Russia, Ukraine, and the United States, and nobody really talking. At a time when we have internet... Oh, you bastard. Let me finish this fucker. Fucking die already. Right. At a time when we have problems with the Ukraine, and all our president had to do was, while the president's not at fault for what's going on with Russia, all you had to do, at a time when we have internet and social media and smart devices, was talk to the right people, and Putin wouldn't have done anything. All my uncle had to do was not be an asshole, respect his wife, respect his children, and Memo would never have had to have gone to jail. Gabriel would never have been... So... Gabriel, I can't speculate too much. I can speculate a bit because he's passed on now. But I can only imagine, he was hanging around gangbangers, And maybe he was one. Maybe he was deep into it. Maybe he was casually into it. But my mom told me that when he passed away, gang members were at his funeral. What does that tell you? Who was there at his funeral? His friends. His friends from low places. This was a kid that joined a gang, or at least was affiliated with a gang. So he was, I mean, even if you just like bought things from gang members, but you didn't have a name like Casper or Little Legs or Peanut or Pocket, just by somehow being connected to all that stuff, you know what I mean? It's almost, you might as well have been part of a gang. Even if you were just like, you know, casual. You know what I mean? Like, even if you were just casual, it didn't matter. You were knee deep in that shit. Ah. Alright, let's see. We try again. So Gabriel was diagnosed with AIDS probably around the same time my brother had passed away. And so there was a difference between a few years. They came up with all kinds of medications, pills, whatever it took to prolong the suffering of AIDS. So it's like, you take the vaccine for COVID-19. This was like, pills and medication for AIDS. All my cousin had to do, all Gabriel had to do was take the medication, and he would still be alive today. You know what? As my mom told me, he stopped taking the pills. He threw them away. Like you throw away marijuana in the toilet when the cops are going to come get you, right? You flush all that marijuana down the toilet back in the 90s. Because back then, it was illegal to have marijuana. So he treated it like illegal narcotics. Illegal narc and just throw it away. Which is stupid. My brother at least wanted to live. But not Gabriel. He was too cool. My cousin Gabriel was too cool for school. So eventually, he just stopped wanting to live. My mom would visit him back in 1994-95. So Gabriel had graduated high school by the time of 95. Let me pull the armor off. And Gabriel was not Gabriel anymore. He was just half a person because he was so sick and weak due to the AIDS. And eventually, he died on his death. He died in his own bedroom, full of all of his old trains, his skateboards, anything that was associated with gangster life. And he died. He died with all of his homitos saying goodbye to him. He threw his whole life away. Let me get past the ice cream truck. Okay. Now that we got some quiet back, noisy shit, noise pollution. We Chicanos love noise pollution. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Slip and slide. I'll tell you right now, I'm on the master quest for Ocarina of Time, and I'm lost in that water dungeon. I can't get past the water temple in master quest. Let me see these boxes. If you're going to put crates here, you got to put something in them, right? Okay, let me, we're not doing that. What I'm trying to do is get further in this dungeon. So yeah, there's a link in the description below for Grim Planet, the last chapter where Rosemary sees Gerry. Gerry is based on my cousin Gabriel, okay? In that story, he turns into a monster. He doesn't he doesn't die, but he turns into a monster, right? His backstory and Gabriel's backstory are identical because I wrote them identical. I wrote Gerry the Reaper to be somebody who is all hard, right? Somebody who is all powerful and knows a lot, but he only knows enough to say he's all bad and shit. But what makes you all hard? What makes you all bad? I mean, you come from a family where your dad hits your mom, right? So the character of Gerry, based on Gabriel, is somebody who he had limitations. He was afraid, right? But he'd never tell you. And in the end, when he became the monster, right? When he loses the girl and becomes the monster, he turns against his gang members. He turns against his family. He turns against everyone. Because for him, that's it. He had to open the door. Watch out for the piranhas. I don't even know if I can kill them. Can I do that? I know I could pull them over to me. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks the way people are. So the way Gerry was, he would just not be afraid of anything. You couldn't threaten him. You couldn't take away things. Unlike like comic book villains where they want money and power, Gerry didn't care about any of that stuff. This is like Master Quest of Ocarina of Time right here. All Gerry cared about was killing people. So, you know, for Gabriel, the only thing he cared about was himself. He didn't care anything else. He didn't care about me. He fucks with me. If I ever saw him again, I'd knock the shit out of him. I don't care if he was gang associate or not. You know, when you just attack people because reasons, that's not a good idea. I just don't care who you are, right? I have my own grievances against people. Let me take out this fucker. Fuck off! Hold on. I gotta arm. You can only do it this way. I gotta take out this black slug. Don't drink the black poison. Don't scoop that up because it'll kill you. Yeah, never scoop up the black gel because that'll kill you. And you also, when you go into the forever dungeons in the Gerudo Desert, what do you get here? Alright. Yeah, don't get the black gel because that'll poison you. Okay. We got to go back the other way. So all I can say in the end is that, yep, that's what we wanted. So while I finish up this dungeon here, I'm not sure how much more I can tell you, but so you figure, could anything have been different? Was there anything more I could have done? I don't think so. I think he was just too angry. He was angry at his... I'm angry at my father, okay? Like my mom told me once, oh, he was just jealous. That's why he was like that. I think it wasn't just that. I think he needed to feel superior to somebody. The problem is that he fucked with the wrong person. I'm not going to deal with that shit. You know, I'm not the one who beat up your mom. I'm not the one who hurt you. You know, you understand that, you would have to understand that that was your uncle, that was my uncle, your father, being the way he was. If your dad hadn't resorted to beating up your mom, if he had been there for you instead of just fixing refrigerators, because he used to fix, my uncle used to fix refrigerators all the time. That was his thing. is a way. We'd have to wait for it. But if your dad had been there for you more, if your mom had been there for you more, to let your brother join a gang, Guillermo, I mean, what's the worst sin? Let me pause. Okay. Well, got there. Some fucking how. I guess for me, my family has always been screwed up. You know what I mean? Like for Vinny's cousin, yeah, he turned out to be a nice guy because even though he was like trying to set up a nightclub, like he wasn't that bad a person. Gabriel, like me, we were just born into stupid family members, and we never learned from our we never well I learned, but he never had that comfort. You know, he never had that safe zone where he felt safe. That's why he turned to stupid ass people. So he was someone who suffered until he died. And much like Gerry the Reaper from Grim Planet, it was the same way. It was somebody who acted like he wasn't. He acted like he was all hard and was never afraid of anything. He was all powerful, except that he wasn't all powerful. He was somebody that had weaknesses, and he fell hard. You know, drawing inspiration from Skeletor and Darth Vader and all that. Oh my God! You never know what's down here. You never know what's around. So that's been my inspiration for my fiction. And some people don't like my fiction, but I base it on real life. My love for science fiction and my love for and my real life. That's where I base my inspiration from my cousin Gabriel and for Star Wars, Star Trek, just cautionary tales, fables. You know, that's just where I get my inspirations from. So this was my version of the legend of my cousin. And so it upsets me today to think about it, but that's why I'm thinking, you know, I hope you're good with your family. I hope you get along with your family members and relatives, because some of us were not so lucky. I'm thinking this was not such a great idea to get over here, but anyway, I'm going to try to complete this dungeon on my own. And I'll probably do some more art. But I'm going to probably do another version of the work I already have. And we'll go from there. But yeah, hopefully if he reincarnated, he's in a better spot than where he was before. And that's the thing about raising family, you know, give time and attention to all of your kids. Even if you have a favorite child, never admit that and never show that. But spend time with all the kids that you know so that they can all turn out to be successful somewhere. Even if all of them don't continue the family business, some of them do something worthwhile. And everybody does something that they're meant to do. And that's what my life has been about. You know, if I'm not joining a gang, that I'm not going to, I got to do something worthwhile with my life and something valuable. And that's what it is. It's about your fate. You know, whether you're destined to be the hero or the shopkeeper or the mailman or a princess or a wolf or a soldier. You got to find what your destiny is. And that's the legend of my cousin. And I haven't done one of these Game and Speaks in a long time. So if you stayed this far, thanks a lot. This is more exciting than Wordle or Octordle, isn't it?